Hello everybody, on this Ford Expedition today I'm installing the double din radio, and to do that you got to remove this front cover. It's all clips, you got to pry it open, and then behind here are all these plugs. You just have to unplug every single one. You can access that once you pull the panel forward and get all the connectors out. Then you have this main connector for the radio harness. What we're going to do is get a pin outs, basically which pin is for what. Now if you are not familiar with the wiring harness, the easiest thing for you to do is to get a pre-wired easy install harness adapter from online. It plugs in here, and the other harness you splice into your radio adapter. Customer had brought me their own unit they want me to install. The back of the unit, it does tell you which color corresponds to what function. So you basically take out the original harness that came with the radio. It looks something like this, and these are the colors. From the looks of it, someone was working on it. Anyway, this plugs behind the radio like here, and then this other harness I'm going to splice it behind this. Now because there are a lot of colors, that can be extremely confusing if you're doing this the first time, and from my previous experience I can tell you, when you look at this harness, the center of the plug to the right, these are all your speaker wires right here. How you know these are speaker wires is you will notice that there is a pair of each color. So you got green and green, you got purple and purple, gray and gray, white and white. The difference is white with black stripe, green solid, and green with black stripe. See that? So these are your speaker wires. And let's see what is behind the radio. Pink wire is a brake wire. So if you want to play videos on this guy, you would not be able to play those unless you ground the brake wire. And in this case, we're just going to connect the brake wire to the ground, and that way you have access to play videos all the time. Orange wire is a back view camera. So if you're installing a rear view camera, you will plug in your RCA for the camera in here, and then the power cable that gets the signal when you put in reverse and sends the monitor a signal stating to open a rear view camera is orange wire. You're going to connect that to the orange wire, which is in here. Come on, orange. One of these guys, right? So we got orange with black stripe, and then we got solid orange. We're going to connect it to the solid orange. Next we have here is brown steering wheel controller, a brown and black steering wheel controller 2. Blue and black is your amplifier control. Black is ground, yellow is memory backup 12 volt, black is steering wheel control, and red is ignition switch. Okay, so red is ignition switch, the yellow is memory backup, so that's going to be full 12 volt. On the left side you can see your speaker wires, and that's what we're gonna try to run this. It's pretty straightforward. On this side you don't have to use all the wires, you only use what you need. If some of them are not connected, don't panic, because that just means you don't have that function available. So we're not going to concentrate on that so much. Another thing this customer has, so right here I have a rear view camera, and on this camera they're giving you a small instructions, and rear view camera information basically, and there's instruction at the bottom. It comes with the 2 RCAs, and we're going to run one to the back of the head unit, and the other RCA is backup light power 12 volt and the ground. So 12 volt, you just tap it into your reverse light bulb signal, and open the tail light, find the backup reverse light bulb, and then tap into the signal for the positive. The ground, you can ground anywhere. Now if you look at your RCAs here, this is what we have. So the yellow plugs in here, they give you extra cable that runs alongside the car. And then we're going to put rear camera in, front camera in. I'm going to plug into rear camera in, and then you run this cable alongside your car to the back of it. Now this here is your power. There you go, right there. You plug that in, and then you have two cables. One goes to the reverse light bulb, and the ground you can ground anywhere. Now when you come in the front, remember I told you there's a cable that you gotta run to the backup camera. Sorry. So this cable, we're gonna run it to the backup camera. See, this is your antenna right here. So this is where you plug your antenna in. If the antenna on your car is smaller than the factory antenna, this is the factory antenna standard, this fits in perfect. If you're smaller, you're gonna need an adapter to make that work. So what I'll do is I'll take the factory head unit, and you see this clap, this mounting hardware right here, and take this out and then install it onto one of these holes on the side, whichever one it works with, and mount this unit on. If it doesn't work, then I'll have to get a head unit installation mounting hardware, and if it doesn't, that's definitely something we need. But I have had luck in the past using the original hardware to make it work, so I'm thinking it would work because it's far enough. We'll see. Well, let's see. I'm going to try to install this and get back to you. And before you go ahead and do all the work, wiring every single thing up, and then testing your radio, one thing I recommend you do here is pick the red wire and yellow wire here, and black wire here. So I'll connect red, which is ignition, and hot all times, which is yellow. Connect those together, loop them together like this, and then connect them to the hot all times in the radio harness, and then ground to the ground cable of the radio harness. And then what you want to do is you want to test the unit you're plugging in first. Make sure that unit works. And I'm just temporarily connecting everything here. There we go. Since it's hot all times, we don't need to turn the ignition on. We're just going to power. There you go. And everything is working. That means our pinout that we have here is correct. So right now I'm just going to unplug this guy. Perfect. Put it aside. Now the wire harness diagram that I'm using, I will leave the image in the description, or if I'm not able to, I'll leave the image at the end of the video, and you can pause and look at the diagram for this vehicle. This is 2004 Ford Expedition, so the wiring harness image that I'm sharing with you applies to this particular model, and you will have the correct wire colors and the location of the cable in that diagram. I got it wired based on the wiring diagram that I had. The wire colors were matching perfect. However, I was not able to get a sound to the back speakers. And the reason being is, looks like this was a police vehicle, and they had a harness here running to the through the center shield that they had. So I ended up bypassing based on the colors that were on wire colors that were going to the back speakers. I had to open both door panels to check the wire colors. Once I figured those out, I bypassed those here. Now we got a sound going to all four speakers. I'm sure you're not going to have this issue, because if they're just standard Ford, you're not going to have all this stuff running through it. Now when I ran the rear view camera has on this car, it has to be on the tailgate. So you don't want to run it by the footwell and go underneath. You have to run it on top and go up through the headliners, go all the way down to the back. So you're gonna run it along the headliner, bring it up here, and then you have to go through this pocket, go into the trunk, and then go all the way around into the plug here, and then ground it right there, and then make a hole. Unit is working, it's connected to Bluetooth right now. If we disconnect that, go to the radio. I know that you and And then we go to the equalizer. We're gonna go to the field. We got a rear, front, left, right, right, left. So we got that going on perfect. Rear view camera, put it in reverse, and here we got the rear view camera connected. To mount this, I didn't use any special hardware. I ended up using what original bracket we used on the original radio. I mounted that bracket and it works fine. Well, thank you so much for watching.